Hey guys, and welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages that you sent me, and thank you so much, yeah. A special thanks to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so many people that have signed up. Yeah, I'll go through all the messages, yeah, and I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all the messages for definite. Have I said welcome to Brexit Third World Britain? Don't know if I've used that one yet. I'm sure I have. Well, anyway, this morning we've got Insulate Britain are back, right? And they seem to be hitting on the M25 as well, right? But they seem to have hit like a slip road, right? So I'm not sure whether or not that's gonna be part of where their court order is. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the road that probably leads back onto the M25 itself. So I don't know whether or not they're going to whether or not they're going to be able to use the court order. But these people, they're very serious in Slate Britain. They're very serious about what they're doing. I think about 50 of them this morning. So far, I think about 20 or 30 of them have actually been arrested. So but these people, they're very, very serious in what they're doing, right? And because this morning it started pissing down the rain where I am, and it was pissing down the rain. You know what I mean? I say good luck to them. They're doing their thing. Do you know what I mean? And well, I can't see it doesn't look like they're going to be. It doesn't look like they're going to be giving up anytime soon. And I don't think the government has even said anything to them or anything like that. But then the government can't, because the government can't be held to ransom like that. Not by a bunch of people who don't really have any real power. The only power they've got here is by blocking up roads. That's what their power is. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of these guys have explained that they've been writing to politicians for the last 30 years and stuff like that. Some of them, do you know what I mean? They've written some very strongly worded letters, and the politicians have taken those letters and have looked at them and thought to themselves, let's dash that away. Do you know what I mean? Because unless you're unless you're one of them companies, yeah, that has a monopoly, right? You ain't got no real power as such. Do you know what I mean? You ain't got, what they'll do is they'll just try and set the rest of us on you. Do you know what I mean? Notice how they didn't try and set us on the CO2 company, right? They didn't try and set us on them, but right, who remember the CO2 company? Yeah, they could have made sure they could have stopped us from having beer at Christmas. Not that I'm a beer drinker, but they could have stopped people from having beer and soft drinks at Christmas. Do you know what I mean? So about a couple of people block up the roads and that, and so yeah. So I mean they're back and they're just doing their thing. Do you know what I mean? And then we've got obviously we've got the Labour Party conference. Do you know what I mean? And just think to yourself, you know what's going to happen? They're going to start shooting themselves in the foot. Right, as they normally do, right? They just form a circle and just start shooting at each other, right? Which is just like, and then next week, yeah, because I think that the Tory party have got theirs next week, right? And you'll see the difference. The Tories, look at the state of the country, right? But the Tories will all get behind Johnson. There'll be no dissent, not dissent that we rarely hear about. There'll be none of that. Do you know what I mean? And again, even if there is, the press wouldn't say nothing about it anyway as well. Do you know what I mean? They would say nothing about it at all. Do you know what I mean? So, but the Labour Party, you just think to yourself, seriously, guys, come on. That this morning they've got some big row about a cervix. I say, come on, man. Seriously, you're politicians, you don't know how to handle this type of shit. Seriously. Do you know what I mean? You get yourself in a muddle over this, a muddle over that. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, seriously, guys, get your fucking act together. Do you know what I mean? How can you expect people to vote for you, right, if you can't get your act together, right? And they look over the other side, they look at the Tories and think, oh, well, they seem to all be focused. Yeah, focused on fucking the country up, but still focused. But this is this is the nonsense. Do you know what I mean? The absolute nonsense. So they've got a row over a fucking cervix. Do you know what I mean? You think to yourself, oh God, come on, guys, be serious. Do you know what I mean? And then the first one was Keir Starmer wanting to change the rules on this, change the rules on that. Do you know what I mean? So that someone like Jeremy Corbyn couldn't get back in. So obviously he knows deliberately he's going to upset the left of the party. But you see, the thing with Keir Starmer, yeah, he's in the pocket of Lord Mandelson, right? Now, remember, yeah, you got to remember Tony Blair and Lord Mandelson. Yeah, these guys are from the upper classes, so they're not really Labour. Do you know what I mean? Like how you've got the Tinos and the TiVos and the working class Tories and then the Brexiters, right? These people, right, are not real Tories. Just like a lot of the people at the head of the Labour Party are not real Labour, right? Because and that's where all the infighting comes from. That's where it all comes from because we've been taken over from a long time ago. It's nothing new. Do you know what I mean? It's nothing new for the upper classes to infiltrate us, right? And so they can keep a balance, a steady ship. Do you know what I mean? Because once in a while, yeah, the Conservatives, once in a while, Labour have to get into power once in a while, right? So when that does happen, right, obviously they need someone, right, who they can say, yeah, okay, fair enough, we can run with this person, right? You see, look, all you have to look at, yeah, is anyone, right, who can go and see Murdoch. If you see a Labour leader go and see Murdoch, right, then you know that Labour's got a fantastic chance, right, of winning the next election, right. That's I don't know why this country is so petty like that, but that's just the way how it is. Do you know what I mean? Murdoch has been the person to push every single election win, right? Whoever's been in power, Tony Blair. The first thing Tony Blair was done was going to see Murdoch, right? So he has that much power, that much influence. Do you know what I mean? Over here in America, Australia, major influence over who wins elections, and so we've been infiltrated a long time ago, right? Because right now, yeah, it's really Mandelson because Keir Starmer's is Mandelson's boy. Do you know what I mean? Right, so that's why that's why you have all that infighting. Do you know what I mean? Every time the Labour Party have their conference, do you know what I mean? And then you've got like one transgender, I don't know, something like that. One to didn't want to come to the conference. Do you know what I mean? Because there was apparently too frightened, right? And you see, these are the stories, yeah, that will always get put out in the media. They'll get put out in the media, really hard in the media. Do you know what I mean? Right? When Jeremy Corbyn, I think it might have been his last party conference, right? You had a lot of Jewish people down there protesting outside, yeah, outside the conference, right? So you say, well, for people that are so scared of Jeremy Corbyn coming into power, right? You'd be there protesting outside because I guarantee you, I absolutely guarantee you, those same Jewish people, yeah, would not go and protest the far right. Never. They won't go protest the far right. Right now, the whole when Corbyn was in, we held the whole anti-Semitism nonsense, right? And it's anti-Israel. It's not anti-Semitism. Do you know what I mean? But they use it as always anti-Semitism, anti-Israel. Do you know what I mean? They know that. The media all knows that. Do you know what I mean? Right? But there's he hates Jewish people. Do you know what I mean? Which is completely ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? The guy from Momentum, right, is Jewish himself. Right, so so I don't understand how Jeremy Corbyn can hate Jewish people, and him and the guy from Momentum is really tight. That's just ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Right, it's completely ridiculous. But if you notice, yeah, right, the way how they talk about John Landsman, right, they just smash into John Landsman all the time. Right, he's this, he's that, right. But you notice, yeah, no one ever says, oh, it's because he's Jewish why you're saying that, right? But you turn that around now, right? If that was someone, if that was someone that was in the Tory, if that was someone in the Tory party or whatever, right? It would be complete different circumstances, Do you know what I mean? It would be complete different circumstances, you know. So this is how these people run this. Do you know what I mean? You know, they've been running the world all this time. All this time they've been running the world. Do you know what I mean? So the way how they obviously the way how they get to do that, yeah, is by putting a wedge between us, the working class. Because remember, they need the working classes. They can't run shit, right, without having the votes of the working classes. They've got to have the working classes behind them to say, you know what, yeah, right. So what they do, yeah, is they'll focus themselves on this issue and that issue, right, but things that are not the issue of the day. Do you know what I mean? Right? They're trying to, now they're trying to focus on Angela Rayner, right? Because Angela Rayner called them scum. She called them scum, right? She called them, right? And I mean, they are scum. Seriously, right? Remember when Hillary Clinton's called the Trump supporters a box of deplorables or something like that, right? And then all of a sudden, right, the right wing are using that constantly. They're constantly using that. Oh, you called us this. You called us that. You called us. How dare you call us horrible names, right? While cheering Donald Trump on stage, right? While he's taking the piss out of disabled people, right? Because you've got to remember, yeah, that's who the right wing are. Right, they like to, they will call you all sorts of different names all the time, constantly, you know. But right, you say, you know what it is? I tell you what it is. What it is, right, is Angela Rayner needs to know her place. How dare she call the elite? Oops, there we go again. I know that I'm metropolitan, middle class elite. That's correct, yeah. Because I'm Labour. That's correct. Okay. Right? But how dare she, right, talk to like her betters like that? How dare she? That's what's going on in their mind. Right? And so the newspapers, they focus on that. Right? While we've got 90%, we've got like 90% of certain petrol companies, yeah, their stations, right, haven't got no fuel. Okay, there's people, right, missing their cancer treatments. Hmm? Yeah. The financial services is crippled. The fishing industry is crippled. But you know what? Let's focus on Angela Rayner calling a bunch of extremely wealthy Tories scum. Let's focus, yeah, on what is important. Why don't we do that? Why don't we focus on what's important? Right? How dare she call them scum? Who the hell does this woman think she is to call these people scum? Don't you know that they're your betters? Angela Rayner probably brought up on a council estate. Come on, right? This is how dare she, right, try and look down upon these people. That's how the media's reporting it. You think, seriously? Right, seriously? With all the shit that's going on in this country, that's what you've got on the front pages. Angela Rayner called the Tory boys scum. And they're reporting it saying, oh, she's calling all Tory voters scum. I mean, personally, I think you all are scum, personally. But I don't think she was saying that. Because I'm sure she used the word Etonian. And how much of you Tory voters are Etonians? I'll wait. How many of you going out to work now, right, in the local supermarket, or your builder, plumber, police officer, nurse, you know, any working class job you can think of. Plasterer, bricklayers. Have I said builders? Because that's covered, right? Carpenter, right? I'm not sure if that covers both. Yeah, but I'm sure that's covered in building too. right? You know, you could be working on the road gang, right? You know, going and opening up your little shop. Might have a few, two or three shops you might have. Going to work now, yeah? Are you an Etonian? Hmm? Hmm? Are you? Are you? No, I doubt it very much. You see? So she wasn't talking about you, even though I'm telling you you're scum for voting for this lot. I'm telling you you are racist scum for voting for this lot, right? But that's not what Angela Arena said. She's talking about the Etonians, right? And how they're misogynistic, because they are, right? Racist scum. I believe those was the words, but she might have used the word scum. Still means the same thing, right? So that's what they're focusing on. They're focusing on that hard. Oh, how dare she? Who did she? Right. So the media, that's what they've got in the media. Do you know what I mean? So if you're sat in a petrol station queue, right, you know, don't worry about that. Worry about um, Angela Rayner saying that they're scum. Don't think about Boris Johnson saying fuck business. Yeah, you see where fuck business gets you, right? It gets you sitting in a petrol station queue. For how long? Do you know what I mean? Right? You got Michael Gove, who said one time that he said something about the dirty faces of the Northerners, something like that, but something really derogative. Wasn't really reported on, not like how this has been reported on, calling them scum. How dare you call Etonians scum? How dare you call Etonians scum? You can't do that. You can't do that. They're not scum. Their voters are scum. Right? That's who's scum. Right? I can say that because I'm one of you. She calls them scum because she's one of them, a politician. Me and you, we're working class. And you are Tory scum. Okay? Good. Right? So, and then you've got one Tory MP said to, said he wants to send a bomb to Annalise Dodds. Do you know what I mean? How much news did that really get? How much news did that get? God, let me just pull a name out from the hat. So say like Sadiq Khan said that to one of the Tories, right? He'd have the terrorist police round his house, right? They'd have him, his wife, and his children on the floor, handcuffed, right? Before you could say, he's a member of Al Qaeda, right? If he ever did, right? See, this is the thing. There's no reporting of it, right? So you see, this is how they've always worked stuff. If it's down to like people from the working classes even mentioning anything, right? I mean, dare to say anything about what's currently going on, right? And call these people scum because you know what they're constantly voting against children, against feeding starving children, right? So but you mustn't call them scum. You must you got to be polite. Oh, one must be polite to these people. Oh, well, let me tell you this, yeah. These guys, right? This is the type of politics they use all the time. They use these type of politics. They name call all the time, constantly. They're name calling, right? Boris Johnson, Donald Trump. These people are constantly name calling. Right. But when you do it to them, oh God, he called me a nasty name. She called me a nasty name. Seriously, do you know what I mean? So we've got we've got a serious fuel crisis going on. And I mean, it seems, right, that the government, well, I did say before, right, that they're going to start giving out visas because they've got to, right, because they didn't want to, because this means, right, that Brexit is a failure if they start giving out visas. Brexit's failing. Right? It's the last thing that Boris Johnson wants to do. Boris Johnson don't want to give out no visas because he knows, right? But he's gonna have to try and sell it to you in some type of way, that it's some type of Brexit bonus. Oh, we can control this. Control what? What can they control? Right? You know something? If they get 2,000 drivers come over from the EU, I'll be surprised. Because why the hell would anybody want to come to this fucked up place to work? Why? Right? The conditions in Europe are much better. Right? There's less tax. Right? The drivers, the conditions are much better. Right? They've got proper showers and toilets in the this, right? We have treated our HGV drivers like scum for years and years and years. For years, forever, we've treated them like scum. And we wonder, right, why the EU ones don't want to come back. They don't want to come back because you people are ready to racially abuse them like you've always done. Do you know what I mean? Someone speaks someone speaking a different language in front of you, and for you it's like the end of the fucking world, right? Do you know what I mean? Right? You see a Romanian family or a Polish family move in, and your eyes is all over them. What the fuck for? Mind your fucking business. Get on with your own fucking life. They're not living in your house, okay? Just get on with your own fucking shit. Leave the fucking people them alone, right? And then, so now, right, because I'll tell you what this is the start of. You know what this is the start of, right? This is the start, right, of freedom of movement for the Europeans, for the EU citizens. They're going to have freedom of movement, and guess who doesn't have freedom of movement anymore? Oh, wait. That's fucking right. Us. We don't get freedom of movement no more, but they will. They will. Because these guys, because you know something, right? These guys have seen the problems that this is causing, right? And you know how it works, right? Even if, right, they get all the workers that they need, right, from the British workers, right? The minute they've got all the workers they need, right, and they've got and they can fill those jobs, and they can fill those jobs straight away, your wages goes back down to where it was before. Okay, because the only way you can get better wages is by having a union. Okay, if you don't have no fucking union, then you haven't got anybody to look out for you. Okay, so don't be fooled by none of this shit. It's all bullshit. It's all sleight of hand, all of it. Right, so don't be fooled by none of it. Right, because they have lost control. They've lost control of everything. Okay, they've lost. Boris Johnson right now, yeah, is whistling in the fucking wind. He doesn't know. He hasn't got a clue, right, how to deal with this petrol crisis. He hasn't got a clue. This is going to take much bigger brains than he's got, right, to deal with. He hasn't got a clue, right. The army is going to have to come in, right. The army's going to have to come in, right. But what they're going to do, right, is they're going to give freedom of movement by the back door. Now, you know something, yeah? I don't really... You know something? I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to lose my own freedom of movement because that's just ridiculous. Anybody who's happy about losing their freedom of movement is a psycho and an arse and an idiot. Okay? Right? But if the EU citizens get their freedom of movement back, I'm good with that. I'm good with that because as British citizens, most of the time we can get to go most places ourselves anyway. Do you know what I mean? Even though internationally we look like a big bunch of fucking idiots. Right? That's how we look internationally. Right? We look stupid. Right? I said something about a fight in the petrol station the other day, yeah, and Someone from Holland, right, sent me a message to say, yes, I heard about that. First of all, yeah. Oh my God, I can't even say, you know what? Don't you dare speak about us. I can't even say that. Right? I can't even say that. That's how stupid we look internationally. We look like fools. Right? And that is down to you, Brexiters, you absolute idiots. Right? You people are so stupid. Right? You are ridiculous. Your whole life is completely ridiculous. Right? And you put your ridiculousness, I really hope that's the word, ridiculousness, right, onto the rest of us. You bunch of racist idiots. Right? This is by any means necessary. We are in Brexit Britain. I'm the MC Ribs. Tories are racist scumbags. Comments below. It's really nice to speak to you guys.